In this tutorial, you will learn how to use the new functions of the updated Stoll artwork extension for Adobe Photoshop. This update contains many new and useful features for knitwear designers. The update includes two additional panels, Stoll pencils and Stoll pattern colors, which you can open separately. The flyover functions can now be switched off by unchecking Show Tooltips in the Settings menu. To give you an understanding of the new functions, let's create a graphic with a gradient. We'll choose a gauge of 14. At first glance, you might think this artwork contains only a few colors. But if you take a closer look, it actually contains many shades. Remember, shades and gradients should be avoided when knitting. You can reduce the number of colors in your graphic using the Reduce Colors button. These 256 colors are all included in the artwork, but we want to reduce them to only 4 colors. To do that, a small intermediate step is required. First, the new artwork must be saved as a GIF file and reopened. After the color reduction, the artwork consists of indexed colors. Therefore, none of the options that require RGB are available. With the RGB button, you can change the color mode back to RGB. To make sure there's no more than 4 colors in the artwork, we open the new panel, Stoll Pattern Colors, and click on Read Current Colors. This function shows us all colors which are in use in the artwork. The pattern colors match the pattern colors of the M1+. Now we can replace any color in the artwork. The next function is very useful for jacquard and intarsia designs. With the Create Color overview, we can check how many and which colors there are in each row of the artwork. In this section, you see 3 colors, whereas in this field, there are only 2 colors per row. If you change the pattern, you should delete the color overview and restart. The color overview is displayed on a separate layer. The Fix Color Patches function is used for cleaning pixel clusters in images. When we use this function, we'll get a more even image without single pixels or pixel clusters. First, we have to define the size of the areas we want to remove in the dialog box. For example, here we want to remove just 1 single pixel. Of course, we can also delete these 2 pixels by entering 1 for the width and 2 for the height. Only pixels that are completely surrounded by a single color are converted to the neighboring color. This is the reason why these pixels here and those pixels there were not removed. The Presets function provides a selection of stitch densities. We chose the 4-color jacquard with a striped back. Based on this, the Stitch Distortion preview can now be activated. The pixels look distorted because the preview simulates the stitches on the knitted fabric. Additionally, there's a new tool to restore the correct proportions of the artwork. Adapt Proportion to Stitch Density. With this tool, the artwork can be brought back to the correct dimensions while still displaying correctly in the preview panel. Please note that you should only click Adapt Proportion to Stitch Density once. Otherwise, every click will repeat the sizing. Now we come to the additional panel, Stoll Pencils. This consists of the basic knitwear pencil with 1 pixel and the Stoll E-Cut plating pencil. It is important that the stitch distortion preview is disabled before the E-Cut plating pencil is used. The Stoll E-Cut pencil adapts its length to the gauge. That means it automatically adjusts to the required minimum width of 2 inches. As mentioned in the last tutorial, we need this distance when working with the Stoll E-Cut plating technique. With this update, you also have the possibility to switch the pixel grid and the rulers off and on by clicking on these symbols. With Import Shape, we can automatically import vectors from Adobe Illustrator into Adobe Photoshop. To do this, there are only a few presettings necessary. Here, we can turn the pattern in respective knitting directions so it can fit to the grain line. With this button, we can choose a color for the area outside of the shape. During the import, we also have the ability to enter the stitch density. The preview shows us how the pattern would be knitted. Now we can move the shape to the desired position and cut it to size. By clicking on Export for M1+, we save our artwork as a bitmap file. It can then be exported directly to the M1+ for further processing. We hope you found this tutorial useful. If you have any feedback or suggestions, let us know in the comments. Happy designing! And if you are still satisfied with Stoll artwork, please rate it on the Adobe Creative Cloud website.